When I was 5, I would constantly be coming home from school sick. Not just sick, but high fever, rashes, throwing up, sick. Naturally, my parents took me to a doctor to find out what was wrong, and it turned out my body couldn't handle gluten well. And so my journey started. For the next 4 years, I was put on a strict gluten-free diet. I'd go to birthday parties with my trusty blue lunchbox, with my own gluten-free slice of pizza and my own gluten-free cupcake. Kids would always ask me why I got my own special cupcake or my own special slice of pizza. This was always more of a punishment rather than a reward for me. And as kids, we'd all hate the feeling of being left out or feeling put on the spot. And this is how I would feel. But turns out it was all a blessing in disguise. Over time, I started to see my health getting better, and I started to really appreciate my parents for putting a lot of time and effort and care into me. But most of all, I learned 2 things. Being your own person is never a bad thing, and you can always learn to accept and embrace change. According to growth mindset expert Carol Dweck, setbacks help you learn and effort makes you grow. Even if our initial instinct is that I failed, so I'm a failure. This is the persona of a fixed mindset. Having a fixed mindset isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, according to Carol Dweck, the first step to changing mindsets is to embrace your fixed mindset. For example, let's say you're texting someone or you're reaching out to someone for the first time. You might hear a tiny voice in the back of your head saying, "What if they think I'm weird?" Or maybe even desperate. Start to notice these patterns. Don't judge, but observe the emotions and feelings that your body goes through. And then prepare for it. Prepare to take that fixed mindset with you, shove it in your suitcase, and travel the world with it. In a positive way, so even your own fixed mindset can understand what is doing wrong and what isn't working. Now, in order to keep the growth coming, you have to set goals. Goals with intention. I'm a tennis player, and during rainy day practices, we like to set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, accurate, realistic, and time-bound. This is based around setting goals with intention. It helps you ask yourself, am I really going to do this? Do I really care about this? Let's say you set a goal of, I want to be healthier. Okay, well, what are you going to do to be healthier? Are you just doing it because someone told you to or it was trending? Instead, refine your goal. Make it more fit to you. You can say, I want to feel more strong and energized in my body, so I'm going to go work out 3 times a week, learn to cook healthy and balanced meals, and get at least 8 hours of sleep each night. Not for other people, but because I want to feel like myself. Now that's a goal, with intention, with action and passion. But then what? Now the next thing I'm about to say is a little bit scary. Something I think that most of you have tried to avoid at least once in your life. And that is risk-taking. The risk-taking I'm talking about is when you put yourself in an uncomfortable position. And when you start to put yourself in more positions like this, you begin to develop resilience. Resilience is when you fail, but you still get back up and go at it again. For example, let's say that you fail a math test. Most people might say, I guess math just isn't for me. It's not my thing. I did better on my science test. I did better on my reading test. They accept their failure. But people with resilience not only accept their failure, but they also learn from it. They try to use their failure as their fuel to get better. They find the support that they need. They say, what teacher can I find to ask me? What peers can I ask? That's what people with resilience do. When you take a risk, things often go the opposite that you expect them to go. And when this happens, here's what worked for me. You prepare for failure, but you build systems for success. But how? How do I build systems for success? How do I set these goals with intention? The answer to that question? Tell yourself, I can do whatever I set my mind to. Maybe you have a favorite quote that you really like. Tell yourself that. And when you inevitably stumble into failure, remember resilience. And that success is different for everybody. So take the time to understand what success means to you. And that you can always bounce back. Teens are often told to get motivated, but they're never taught how to get motivated. Well, in my opinion, motivation is a visitor. It comes and goes as it pleases. According to Deepak Chopra, motivation comes from the mind. And while the mind is pretty powerful. It's also limited. This means if you rely only on motivation, you would be creating a limited version of yourself. And who wants a limited version of themselves? Motivation doesn't start the journey, it delays it. But discipline is what really starts it. The truth is, when motivation doesn't show up, you still have to. You still have to get out of your bed and go do whatever you have to do. That's discipline. For example, brushing your teeth. It's not thrilling, it's not flashy, but you do it anyways because it matters. And because you don't want cavities. Over time, I've come to agree with the sentence more and more. Confidence is a side effect of risk, and if you wait for it, you'll never move. Carry this with you when you start something. Don't wait for your parents to say, go for it, or your friends to cheer you on. If you believe in something, start it. Start to build those systems for success. Start to set those goals with intention. And remember, always start to take on those challenges and grow.